Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Project O. Um, we're going to give this a go-ahead run. Um, I'm sitting here, still don't have my shop set up, but I'm getting going before Daytona. So I'll turn this around, let you guys know what I'm working on. Gonna go ahead and get this Chevy Monte Carlo cleaned up. Um, and start gluing some of this stuff together. This is for the Fred and Jeff NASCAR group build. Um, so this is a start. Got my tiny little mat out right now, trying not to mess up any of my wife's uh, table table placemats here. I'll also be working on a little bit on the '69 Camaro, and that is for the under 1,000 group build. So just stand by, and we'll do a little time lapse of how I get this guy put together. I put together so many of these guys that it's going to be well, I'm not going to say a breeze, but it does help when you're familiar with the kit. All right, so as we go through here, we scour from left to right. Got my body nice, clean. There's really not a whole lot of sanding to this. Um, I will give it a nice little scuff, um, just kind of wash it up a little bit. Um, I'm not too big on getting in there deep when washing it, soaking it. Um, I just sand it down a little bit, just enough for it to grab the primer. Um, there's not a whole lot of oil on there. Revell does a pretty good job of steaming them as they come off the molds. Um, my bottom pan is pretty good. I'll go through and I'll cut all my parts off the trees. Again, I've done plenty of these that I pretty much could put one of these together with hardly ever even looking at the instructions. The smaller pieces that I like to spray, I tend to just leave them on the tree with just one tiny attachment point that I can clip off and um, and just touch up. A lot of times you're not even going to see it. Just a couple tricks that I have learned from some of the other modelers on the tube. Um, I will do a little bit. Put another leg brace on there, on the seat there. Cut out some seat belt harness slots in the back. Uh, Drop another headrest support on the other side. Um, and there you see everything's cut. Cut off the sprue. So right now it's just a big pile of plastic. Um, the kit says it does have 103 pieces. Um, Let me know if you guys see anything missing in here. Uh, it looks like it's all here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Um, I'll let you know how it goes. I wish I could snap my fingers and it would be done. Not so. So just stand by. A decision was made on this one to go net off. Net off, you just gotta cut it down a little bit. Then you take your hobby knife and then you smooth out the edges, kind of round them off, make them look like it's still part of roll bar padding, and then just install it. Um, you can save your window net, attach it to the inside, kind of let it drape on the inside. I sometimes go ahead and drop a aftermarket window net and let it drape, to the outside. That's how a lot of times you'll see the cars on pit lane before the drivers get in there the nets either to the outside or most of the time to the inside, so they don't get tangled up when they go in. So if you leave it off, no big worries. Like again, you can take the section that you cut off and attach it to the inside, and if you can take a look in there, you'll see a net hanging on the inside. So that's just a little tip I learned a while back when we still had our Scale Auto magazine. But I'll keep on trucking. So what we got so far, it's just about a full engine put together. Since most of it is aluminum, it'll all be painted aluminum, and then some detail painting will come along. It my builds kind of resemble the actual car build, where I put together the complete chassis before it goes to paint. I'll look it over. I'll sand down, smooth out any imperfections, get it shot up, to me a primer, and then a coat of light dove gray, which is what most cars were painted interior wise at that time. This was a Dale Earnhardt Speedway car that was converted into the number 29. Everybody knows Dale had the Chevy engine red interior on most cars except for his Speedway cars, which were Daytona, Talladega. They were light gray interior. Dove gray is what it used to be called in that day. Now it's just a light gray. So far so good. It has took me literally just about two and a half hours to get this build to this point here. It gets better as I paint, as I wait for stuff to dry. I tend to move to other projects, come back to them. Again, I can't stop saying it, but it is difficult to not have my shop set up where I have my little substations going on. At any given time, I'll have up to 4, 5, 6 projects going on at one time. And I've never videoed. I've never videoed my projects and put them on YouTube until now. But I think it's fun, the interaction between other builders. And I can showcase some of the tips and tricks that I have learned. Some of you that use these tricks, it may be one of your tips and tricks that I'm using now, or we may have all read it or seen it on the same platform and use it, and it seems to work for us. But this is as far as I've gotten, and I'll continue building, and I'll continue attaching and posting. Let you guys let me know what you think. All right. So as we're looking at the 2001 Kevin Harvick Monte Carlo, everything I have put together, everything I have clipped off, everything that I'm going to glue and have ready to go to paint. Of course, the seat will be detailed. I'll have another leg strap here, and I'll add another piece to the headrest, and also punch out two slots for the two slots or slits for the seat belts to go through. You have this kit gives you a couple options. You have the cool box that you can use, which is that guy there, or you can use the filter box, which is right there. The engine, I prefer to paint it all together since a majority of it is aluminum. I paint it all together. The only thing that I do not put on is my exhaust pipes, and that's simply because once you get your exhaust pipes stacked underneath, you always want to manipulate them a little bit and get them to fit where they're nice and snug, and they get a nicer fit. Everything else, a lot of it I just leave one attachment point, since you can come back and touch it up with a little bit of black paint or a little bit of aluminum paint, depending on what it is. Sometimes you don't even have to come back and touch it up because it'll hide itself underneath the rubber from the tire, like on the rims, or it'll hide itself, it'll be a glue point onto another part. The tires for this kit, they are stamped with a D5574, which you can leave on that side. They'll get cleaned up. The tread will be scuffed up, giving it a little bit more of a wear appearance. And I'll go over it a little bit as I do it. So everything else is pretty much attached. I found out a long time ago that if you put your whole chassis together, just like the 1/1 cars, you can get a nicer paint. Everything's nice and tight, and when you're done with your seat, you can come back and fit it before you put your dash. You can just fit it in and it'll sit right in there. Then you come back with your dash, steering wheel attached, detailed up, and just slide that bad boy in there, and your interior is done. You have plenty of room to work inside, so that you can set any kind of detailing that you want to put in there. If you want to run some wires, you can run some wires. If you want to put a fuel line, you can definitely do that. You can definitely run a fuel line over on the passenger side. Different teams will place their extinguishers on different places. Different teams will have their extinguishers painted different colors. Some will have it white, some will have them silver, some will just have them red. And then of course just a little bit of detailing, and you're good to go. Now one thing that I did want to point out to everybody, and this is not a really big detail, but it is a detail that will come up in the future. I personally don't like to stress my parts and try to stretch them, try to bend them, flex them, what have you. A lot of times when you do that, you put stress on one side, and then you'll create an issue on the other side. So what I tend to do is, prime example, here where you see it's loose, and that's because it didn't come to rest. What I have found out that I could do is I can take the our old Model Master liquid cement. If you can't find any of this, a good alternative, a very good alternative, is the Revell contact Contacta Professional 39604, which is the same thing as our Liquid Master, our Model Master liquid. Now, what I tend to do there is, and hopefully it'll zoom in. I just make sure that I can get on, there you go, on the tip, and I just put a little dabble right there. Again, I don't stress it. I put another little dabble right there, and when it dries, guys, it actually fills that gap. When you shoot your primer, when you shoot your paint, it fills that gap. You will also, from time to time, have gaps on that crush panel. Crush panel being here, right along the tub there. And then, of course, on the other side, the other crush panel, if you want those to get tight, what I usually do, and since I'm trying to hold the camera and do it at the same time, I'm not going to do it because it'll come out pretty sloppy, but I will tend to take and run a bead again of the Model Masters liquid cement or the Revell Contacta Professional, and just run me a bead right through here all the way to the end, and on the other side as well. Once it dries and you spray it, it fills that gap, serves as a gap filler, and you will never know that it's there. You can go back and touch it up as well on the front here, on the other side, on those crush panels up front next to the radiator, and just tighten it up. Just kind of take away some of those gaps where you're going to have some light coming in and making it, you know, seem like it wasn't attached properly. Once you get it to primer, like I said, the primer will go right on over. If you have any discrepancies where light's coming through because of the contact cement or the liquid cement is clear, the paint will cover it, it'll hide it, it'll tighten it up. I've had this Model Masters liquid cement for quite some time. You see there I have a couple extra. You can never have too much glue, guys. That's my thing. I don't know. You can never have too much glue. I have some of these that are not even open. They don't make these anymore. But if you take care of them and you keep them covered up and clean, they will last you forever. These two bottles, all kidding aside, are probably 25 plus years, and there is still plenty. They will do a lot of models. These here I got just to test and play with them and see, but they're the exact same thing, serve the exact same purpose. So with that being said, that comes to a conclusion on this part of the video. Take all my parts to primer, get them all primered up, and then probably do an update, or I'll probably just start shooting some paint and then just doing some touch-up paint. Hopefully by then I'll be able to have my stand that can hold my phone while I videotape, and I'm able to use both hands and really get up in there. So I appreciate you guys sticking around for this long. Again, if you haven't subscribed to me, just hit me up on a subscription. I'm getting close to 200, so I'm probably going to set up to have a giveaway at 250. So help my numbers come up, and then I'll do a giveaway at 250. So every 250 intervals, I think, is going to be my goal. Every time I hit 250, I will have a giveaway. I have a lot of pretty cool stuff that I know I'm probably not ever going to get to, so Um, I'll just pass it on, and hopefully somebody else can use it and make it their own. The body has been cleaned. I did not sand it. I did not scuff it up. Um, but I usually have some okay, better than okay results just by washing it in some mild detergent, letting it air dry, and then just shooting on some paint. Unless I have or find a mold mark or something like that, I usually don't scuff them up. So thanks again for hanging out, and we'll see you on the next video. Again, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Shop cards will be coming up pretty soon. AtlantaCon is coming up on Saturday. I hope to make it. Andrew and I, hopefully we can make it up there. We have a couple of military vehicles that we'll take up there with us, and get those in the show. So stay tuned, and appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Y'all have a good night.